everybody to the Grizz, and I'm your host, Rashad Grismore. I have an exciting show for you today. What trade almost happened in the NFL? You're not going to believe it. You're going to get it here on the Grizz. Kobe Bryant is mad at Laker brass. What's that all about? So just sit back, relax, and just roll with me. And let's get it here on the Grizz. How you doing, everyone out there? This is the Grizz, and I thank you for listening to me today, however it is that you are listening to me. Wow. I don't even know how to really even, express myself right now. I'm mad and hurt at the same time. But we're going to get into this, right now. The Browns were close to a trade that would have sent 49ers coach Jim Harbaugh from the San Francisco 49ers to the Cleveland Browns. Pro Football Talk reported Friday, citing multiple league sources. According to the website, a deal was in place that would have sent multiple draft picks to the 49ers for Harbaugh, but the coach ultimately decided not to leave San Francisco. Harbaugh has coached the 49ers to the NFC Championship game 3 years in a row and to the Super Bowl. The team conducted an extensive coaching search and explored several options. The Browns said in a statement Friday that search produced an outstanding head coach in Mike Penton and were excited about his future with the club. Now, Jed York, 49ers CEO, said in a tweet to the NFL Network and Pro Football Talk that the report isn't true. When Penton was hired, then Browns CEO Joe Banner acknowledged there was one last mystery candidate out there who'd been under consideration but declined to name him. Now, this isn't, precedent for a coach to be traded. In 2002, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers gave the Oakland Raiders 2 first-round draft picks, 2 second-rounders, and $8 million. The Browns finished 4-2 this past season after starting 3-2. Wow, this is a lot to take in, and this is the source I got this from is ESPN, and you can go and you can view the article yourself. Now, how do I feel about this? I'm at a loss for words. I didn't see this one coming. I didn't, but I can't say that I'm shocked because I've heard reports in the past of Harbaugh, going to Texas, and that didn't materialize. So I'm not shocked, but somewhat stunned that he would want to go to Cleveland. And for me, I think the only reason why he did not go to Cleveland is because I would say that, Mike Lombardi, which is a great friend of his, was ultimately fired. I think there was some kind of inside tip that they were going to be fired, and Jim was informed that, hey, you know what, I'm not going to be here. So Mike Lombardi, since he wasn't going to be there, Jim was not going to be the next head coach of the Browns. Now, according to Joe Lulu at Lulu on Sports, which is his Twitter account, you can also read this at Bleacher Report, said that Harbaugh's personal assistant, Mick Lombardi, Michael Lombardi's son, said that Jim has had it up to his neck with Trent Baalke, which is the general manager for the San Francisco 49ers. So now I look at it and I'm saying to myself, okay, so Jim is mad at Trent Baalke, but why is he mad at Trent Baalke? And at the end of the day, it comes down to money. That old dollar bill. That's what it comes down to. Jim Harbaugh wants to be paid like his brother John Harbaugh, which makes about $7 to $8 million. He's in that bracket somewhere. Jim wants to be paid that amount of money. My thing is that number one, Jim, you haven't won a Super Bowl. You have not won a Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong. I am completely happy and I'm glad that you are the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, because 10 decades passed when we didn't even see the postseason. 10 years, that's after a 17-year stretch when we was in the postseason. That's year after year. That record still exists to this day. 17 consecutive berths in the playoffs. And then it was flatline after that. It was flatline. We went through numerous of coaches, Mike Singletary, Dennis Erickson. We went through a ton of coaches, Mike Nolan. But, Harbaugh, you came in and you stabilized the franchise. So I understand how you are feeling. You felt like, hey, I resurged a struggling and startling franchise. I get all that. But you cannot have it in your mind that I deserve to be one of the highest paid coaches when you haven't won. Like, what do I always tell you, my listeners? What do I always say? This is America. We are winners. This is what we do. We win. Forget second place. That's one of the main reasons why America do not speak about the Vietnam War, is because we lost. We joy in World War I, World War II, the Gulf War. Why? Because we won. We don't talk about losing. That's not something that we do. So when you look at Jim Harbaugh, I'm sorry, brother, from another mother, but you haven't won. You haven't won, so you can't not be mad. But then on the other hand, Trent Baalke, you have to come to some kind of compromise with Jim, because he's done a phenomenal job with this organization, playing with a pathetic and putrid quarterback like Colin Kaepernick. And we will get off into the comments that Jim Harbaugh has made about Colin Kaepernick. Wow, this one is it's going to make you laugh. But now that I'm starting to even think about it, I'm mad at both of them, because they aren't in need to trade Colin Kaepernick. This individual is pathetic. But let me not get off of my topic at hand, and the fact that this deal almost came through. Multiple draft picks for Jim. I don't want that to happen. I don't. I like Jim Harbaugh. Kind of a kooky guy. Somewhat over-emotional, but I like that. It seems like he has his players back and he maximizes their talent. So I don't want Jim to leave Frisco. I don't want him to go anywhere. I want Jim to stay. But if he feels the need that he can find better endeavors, but you know what? By all means, this is America. You can do what you want to do. It's free. It's free will. No one is stopping you. But I don't want this to be a recurring theme that keeps on persisting, that Harbaugh wants to leave San Francisco. Why would you want to leave? Look at the beautiful stadium, the most technological stadium in the world. Why would you want to leave that? $1.5 billion stadium is beautiful. Why would you want to leave that? Why? Because the GM is not giving you the money that you feel you deserve? Hold on, we're going to pay you fair market value, because a man does an honest day's work. He deserves an honest day's pay, and that's how it's going to be. But you haven't won a Super Bowl. You have not won a Super Bowl. Guess what? Pete Carroll, he deserves to be one of the highest paid coaches. Why? Because he won a Super Bowl. Tom Coughlin, just look at Tom Coughlin. He has been extended 1 year. Why? Because he has won 2 Super Bowls. If not, he would have been gotten fired. But the fact that he has won a Super Bowl, not 1 but 2, he has a new leaf on life. But Harbaugh, you haven't won anything. Let's win first. Let's win this upcoming season. Let's win first. When you win, then we can go revisit your contract extension and being the highest paid coach in football. Because for me personally, hey, we have the most technological advanced stadium in the world. Guess what? Our coach needs to be the highest paid coach in the world. That's where I'm going with it. But guess what, Jim? You have to handle it on the football field. And now I'm looking at, Mike Penton, which is the current head coach of the Browns. How does he feel about all of this, knowing that this was going to go down? I mean, he hasn't even had OTAs yet. I mean, not training camp, the combine is tomorrow. He hasn't even had the combine happen yet. But you know what? I'm going to say that Mike Penton, get over it. Now you see how players feel when players are constantly thrown out there day after day, year after year. Look at Pau Gasol. This man is a 2-time NBA champion. He's always in the press clippings to be traded. So get over it, Mike Penton. Go home, shed your little tears, and then show the Browns organization why they even made a mistake by even entertaining Jim Harbaugh as a head coach. Why you haven't even gotten comfortable. That's what you need to do. But I don't feel sorry for the man because it happens to players all the time. It's the nature of the business. That's what they tell players. It's the nature of the business. I'm going to tell you the same thing. Guess what? It's the nature of the business. Now, if Harbaugh wants to win a Super Bowl, there are going to be things that he is going to have to do in order to win a Super Bowl. And I will talk about that when I come back here on the Grizz. Hey, we're back. And oh my God, I had to, drink some water. My blood pressure, was a little bit, skyrocket high. So I had to drink some fluids to, to get everything down. I had to get my woos on like Martin. But, I'm feeling a little better. But right now my eye is hurting a little bit, y'all. But, oh my God, I can't believe this is going. I can't believe this even happened. But, I was talking earlier, what, Jim Harbaugh needs to do in order to be the highest paid coach in sports. I'm talking about in the world. This is what he needs to do. What he needs to do is not make comments about Colin Kaepernick being a elite quarterback. Well, not even elite quarterback. I'm going to let you hear what he has to say. I'm going to read it to you rather. Jim Harbaugh said of his current quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, when he, first saw him at the combine, which Colin Kaepernick wound up being drafted, the number 36 overall pick 3 years ago. He said that I got so excited after meeting with him how well spoken he was, how quick-minded he was. Harbaugh remembered of the private sit-down. Watching him go through drills, sometimes he looks like a great athlete. Harbaugh still marvels over Kaepernick's physical stature. And hold on, that's what he said there. I want to tell you, and this is funny and it somewhat makes me mad. This is what Jim Harbaugh said. Listen to this. And this is what he said, and I quote, Steve Young and Colin Kaepernick presented an award at NFL Honors, the 49ers coach said. Steve looked like a junior high kid next to Colin. No offense to Steve. We love you. He had that kind of effect when you saw what a great, well-trained physical specimen Mr. Kaepernick is. Kaepernick is continuing his hard work in the offseason. The 49ers quarterback is currently training in Miami, a fact that doesn't surprise Harbaugh. I never had any questions about Colin Kaepernick's work ethic and his desire to be great, and he already is a pretty damn good player. The 49ers coach said when asked about where his quarterback can improve the most in 2014, here's the kicker. I don't know that there would be a dramatic increase when you're that damn good, but he'll find a way to get 1 mile an hour faster. That's just how he trains. Wow. Wow, people. Wow. That's all I have to say. That's all I'm going to say. Just wow. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say wow. Because that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to read this again. It is very likely. Hold on. And this is what Jim Harbaugh said of Colin Kaepernick. I got so excited after that meeting. I got so excited after that meeting with him, how well spoken he was, how quick-minded he was. Harbaugh remembered the private sit-down. Went on to say, watching him going through the drills, sometimes he just looked like a great athletic specimen. Harbaugh still marvels over Kaepernick's physical stature. This is the thing that really just had me just saying, what? Are you serious? Steve Young and Colin Kaepernick presented an award at NFL Honors. The 49ers coach said, Steve looked like a junior high kid next to Colin. No offense to Steve. We love you. He had that kind of effect when you saw what a great, well-trained physical specimen Mr. Kaepernick is. Kaepernick is continuing his hard work in the offseason. He went on to say that I never have any questions about Colin Kaepernick's work ethic and his desire to be a great and already is a pretty damn good quarterback. The 49ers coach said when asked about where his quarterback can improve the most in 2014, I don't know that there would be dramatic increase when you're that good, but he'll find a way to get 1 mile an hour faster. That's just how he trains, end quote. Wow. See, now, when you make comments like that, I can see why Trent Baalke doesn't want to make you the highest paid coach. Because you seem like, you're in a Dionysian state of affair. Something is not going right in your mind to make you say something so idiotic and stupid. And I'm not calling Harbaugh stupid because he's not. But something is not working. He has like psychological problems right now for making that statement. First of all, for you to sit here and say that he doesn't have to really get better in any other aspect of quarterback, I mean, like, serious? Like, I don't know that there would be any dramatic increase. Like, come on now, Jim. This man threw for 3,100 yards in 16 games. He had one of the most incredulous performance I have ever seen in my years of watching football. 91 yards in a football game? 91 yards in an NFL football game. He had 10 games where he threw for 100 yards. Didn't meet to me the criteria of 200 yards passing in a football game. He did that 10 times in the regular season. So come on, Jim. How can you sit there and say stuff like this? Now, Jim Harbaugh wasn't the greatest quarterback of all time. Captain Comeback. I remember, growing up, the Hail Mary against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, he came that close to going to the Super Bowl. But, things just did not, work out for him. So he knows what the quarterback position entails. He knows that because he played it. Colin Kaepernick, he's not a great quarterback. He's not a great quarterback at all. And the thing that really stands out, he said that he had that kind of effect when you saw him. What a great, well-trained, physical specimen. What about the fact that, hey, he's one hell of a quarterback? He's a hell of a quarterback. He doesn't even really mention the fact that he's a good quarterback. Oh, he has speed, athleticism. So what? I'd rather take a quarterback like Tom Brady, who doesn't have any athletic ability, but he has an RPG for an arm. I'd rather take that. That's what I'd rather have. Someone who can survey the landscape and make an accurate pass. I know that Bill Walsh is rolling over in his grave. He wants to get out of his grave, but he's 6 feet under. He wants to. Listening to what Jim Harbaugh is spewing out of his mouth. I know he is, because I know I am doing it right now as I speak to you. I know he is. How do you say something like that? He doesn't need to work on his game. Every quarterback needs to work on their game. You hear Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, all of them saying they need to add something to their game. Aaron Rodgers, every last one of them. And you say that I don't know that there would be dramatic increase when you're that good, but he'll find a way to get 1 mile an hour faster. That's just how he trains? What? This is the same man who against the Packers left about 8 plays on the field. Hold on. This is the same man who threw the game pick. He threw a pick in the NFC Championship game. Hold on. This is the same man who threw the ball to Michael Crabtree 3 consecutive times during the Super Bowl when he had Randy Moss wide open. This is the same man. He's not getting it. So for both of Trent Baalke and Harbaugh, y'all need to get it together. Y'all have 12 draft picks. Y'all need to seriously think about, y'all first pick in this year's draft needs to be a quarterback. It needs to be a quarterback because Colin Kaepernick is not going to get the job done. He's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you feel that way. And if you're a 49er fan out there, you know what I mean. No, I'll take that back. You have some 49er fans out there, hey, Kaepernick is great. He does this. He runs and run. Hold on. Anytime you say, and the first thing that come out of your mouth about a quarterback is he runs, you're already, I can't even talk to you. I can't talk to you. Because the quarterback position is not about running. It's about throwing the football. There were plays in that Green Bay Packer game, and grant you, 49ers won the game. Kaepernick did not want to throw the football. He was looking to run. You heard Jimmy Johnson after that NFC Championship game. He said, yeah, Colin Kaepernick, kept him in the game. But when it was time to make a play with his arm, he couldn't do it. So what does that tell you? Look at Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson just doesn't run out of necessity. He runs to make a play down the field, throw the ball. We seen that happen with Doug Baldwin against the 49ers. He only had 2 big plays that game. One to Curse and one to Baldwin. That was it. That was the throwing game. One in the pocket, and the other one he eluded the pocket and threw the ball down the field. That's why people compare him to Fran Tarkenton. Colin Kaepernick doesn't do that. When it's time to make a play with his arm, he doesn't do it. And then you have people say, well, he's accurate sometimes. Guess what? A dead clock is right. What? A dead clock is right twice a day. So I'll give you that. I will give you that. But this whole, breaking news with, Harbaugh wanting to leave or was considering leaving, to me, it stinks. It stinks. It really does. It stinks of, just awesomeness, badness. I know that doesn't make any sense, but that's how I feel. It doesn't sit right with me, because this is not the first time we've heard talks about Harbaugh wanting to leave, and it's all because, then they also said that he wants more control over player personnel, and Barkey hasn't done that bad of a job, even though A.J. Jenkins, I don't know what happened with that, but the Niners, they've built through the draft. But that's just small when you look at the microscope or the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that Harbaugh wants more money. And Trent Baalke doesn't want to give it to him. Because guess what, Harbaugh? Even though you brought us out of the ashes, you haven't got us there. You have to keep going. You haven't won a Super Bowl yet. And like I said before, this is America. This is America. You have to win. But next on the grid is LeBron James. Welcome everybody back to the Grizz. The Miami Heat. Woo! Wow. What a performance by the Miami Heat. Beat Oklahoma City 103-81. And I'm here to tell you, LeBron James was dominant and he reclaimed the throne. He reclaimed it. I don't even know if I should even say reclaim. He was already there, but he just had to let everyone know, hey, don't forget about me. What did Roy Jones Jr. say? Y'all must have forgot. They must have forgot how great of a player LeBron James is. I mean, a phenomenal game. A phenomenal game. We had 33 points. And this is the cool thing about, what happened in that game. LeBron James didn't really have a ton of assists. He only had 3 assists. Just 3. 3 assists. 33 points, 15 for 22. So that lets you know right then in itself that LeBron James was not playing any games. 12 consecutive points. Like LeBron James said, you know what, Kevin Durant? You've been mouthing off. I've been hearing what you have been saying about me. You made some comments about me doing, the All-Star game. You tried to go at me. And, this is an All-Star game, so I'm not going to take it serious. But guess what? I will see you in Oklahoma City, and I have something planned for you. You wanted the big dog? Guess what? You got him. You got him. And you don't want it. Because Kevin Durant, he didn't want no piece of that. He tried, but LeBron James was like, no. You can't, you don't have nothing to do with me. You can't mess with me. This reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather had the fight with Miguel Cotto, and he, was getting hit. And everyone was like, oh, Floyd, he's breaking down. He's breaking down. And then you had Guerrero come on and say some things like, I can beat you. You can't hold me. And you have Canelo saying the same thing. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to be, the first person who beat you. And Floyd Mayweather was like, hold up. This is boxing. Like, I'm supposed to get hit. Y'all make it seem like I'm God. I'm not God. I'm supposed to get hit. But what happened when Floyd, you know what? He said, Uncle Roger, thank you, but I'm going to go back with my father. And what happened? That defense is impeccable. And he beat both of them down. They shouldn't even been in the ring with them. Shouldn't even been in the ring with him. Same thing would happen with LeBron James. He just sat back, let, the pundits like myself. And you know what? LeBron James, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, LeBron James. And I don't say sorry too many times. older gentlemen say you don't tell people you're sorry. You say I apologize because you're not a sorry individual. But as of today, just for this one time, I'm a sorry individual because LeBron James was a bad boy. And if you don't know, now you know, he has caught up with Kevin Durant for the MVP. He's caught up with him. Yes, he did. With that performance on TNT on Thursday, and mind you, I'm a Laker fan. I watch basketball here and there. I have, marquee matchups that I like to watch. But I saw that game from beginning to end. Usually I don't watch teams that are not the Lakers from beginning to end. Football, I can do it. I can watch multiple teams that is not, San Francisco. But I watched that game. I was in tune to that game. I told my girl, I said, baby, I'm going to watch this game. I had me some crackers and some ham and some ketchup and some chips. Doritos. I love them. Love licking them off my hand. We just in the bed eating. I know you're like, dang, Grizz, you kind of a pig. I got it up, hey, got it off the bed and I vacuum. But we just sitting and we're watching this game and my girl was like, LeBron James is not playing any games. Like, he's on a mission. He was literally a one-man wrecking crew. He was not playing any games. LBJ was balling, had a plus-minus rate, +9. He was +9. But check this one out. And this leads me to the next topic. Kevin Durant. Did Kevin Durant choke in one of the biggest games of the season? Yeah, I think he did. And this is the cold part. Every last one of the starters had a minus ratio. So Ibaka, -15. Kevin Durant, -10. Kendrick Perkins, -12. Russell Westbrook, we'll talk about him later, -10. And Thabo Sefolosha, -24. So that plus-minus ratio is horrible. None of them showed up. And Kevin Durant, you was talking, you was chirping a lot. And I'm glad that he was doing it because we need rivalries. We do. I mean, that's what it's about. It's about rivalries. Rivalries make the game that much better. And especially basketball, because stars make the game, unlike football. The game itself makes the game. The team makes the game. But the players in basketball, it is the game. That's what makes it. And Kevin Durant, he just didn't bring it. He didn't take a shot until 6 minutes in the first quarter. By then, the Miami Heat, they were on. They were rolling. LeBron James was not playing any games. He didn't say anything. And then afterwards, they said, is it a rivalry? LeBron was like, no, ain't no rivalry. Duke and North Carolina, that's a rivalry. But this is no rivalry. Now that's what I love about talking trash. Because after you win, you get to say anything you want. Can't nobody say anything. Kevin Durant can't say anything because guess what? You got dominated. You were dominated by the King. They shot 54.7%. And did you see the bellicose defense that they played? Oh, every shot was contested. Every shot was contested by Miami. But guess what? The Thunder, they didn't do that. Miami Heat, they were shooting wide open jump shots. And Dwayne Wade, D-Wade, wow, his best performance of the season. Best performance of the season. This is his second 20-point game. This is his best performance of the season. I'm here to tell you, if the Miami Heat are healthy, and if D-Wade is D-Wade, they're going to win the NBA Finals. They're going to do it because they have it. They have that pedigree. They were fabulous. The entire team was fabulous. That's what greatness is all about. Hey, guess what? The little young buckaroons, they want some of this. Like Mr. Otis, young buckaroo. You remember in Martin when guy was talking all that and he said, oh, you older than him. Talking about Mr. Otis and Mr. Otis got on him and beat him up. Hey, just because, we've been there and done that doesn't make us the fact that we don't know how to get the job done because we have looked a little vulnerable. Because when it all boils down to, We are the Miami Heat, and we have won 2 consecutive NBA championships. And that's what they did. Everyone played well. And the play with LBJ when he was hit in the nose, a fabulous play. One of the greatest plays I've ever seen in my life. Simply because his nose was broke. Ibaka hit him in the nose, and most players would have stopped. LeBron James went up and still dunked on him. What? That's a fabulous play by LeBron James. No one is talking about that, but guess what? I'm going to talk about it. That's a fabulous play to have your nose broke and not break stride. And he was hurt. You saw the blood dripping from his nose. LeBron James is a fabulous player. Like I said before, when the Lord was creating his magnum opus, he had 2 individuals in mind, Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James. Because those guys are extraordinary. Like, they are once in a generation player. And speaking of one in a generation player, because we're going to come back to this Miami Heat thing, but I have to talk about this. Bill Polian made some comments and said that Jadeveon Clowney is a once-in-a-lifetime player. Come on now. Why? Because he's one of the best defensive ends in the game? Well, in college football? No. I cannot roll with that. I cannot roll with that comment. And no disrespect to Bill Polian. I mean, he's the architect of some great teams. He's the architect of those Buffalo Bills team who lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls. Yeah. You know, don't get me wrong. He had one with, Indianapolis. I'll give him that. But the Jadeveon Clowney, when I hear, comments like that, it make me grit my teeth and squint my eyes. I have I don't know. It don't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good when I hear comments like that. Once in a lifetime generation player. I mean, does anyone know who Courtney Brown was, taken number 1 overall in 2000 with the Cleveland Browns? Ran a 4.52 40. You don't even know where he's at. 7 years in the NFL, didn't do anything. Andre Wadsworth, what about him? Taken by the Cardinals. Another one, 1998. Drafted 3rd overall. What has he done? He didn't do anything. So when I hear that, first thing I think of is bust. I mean, that's the first thing I think of when I hear a GM or a former GM make a statement like that he's a once-in-a-lifetime generation player. Now, I don't understand why, everyone feels the need to want to bloviate over an individual. Why? Because he knocked out a poor 5'8" running back from Michigan? Dude took plays off. Told everyone he was going to do it. Should have just doing it. Like, you don't tell someone what you're going to do. Like, if I'm going to hit someone, I'm not going to tell him, hey, I'm going to hit you. I'm just going to do it. That's like Floyd Mayweather telling his opponent, hey, I'm going to hit you, okay? You just be ready for it. No, you just do it. You don't tell someone that you're not going to play hard. It doesn't make any sense. Now, at the combine now, people are going to say, so, what did you mean by that? Why did you even say that? What's going on? I didn't want to know your psyche. Do I think that he's going to be a Jared Allen who was taken in the 4th round, 126 pick, and has 128 career sacks, or a Jack Youngblood taken in 1971 in the 1st round, pick 20? No, I'm not. I can't do that. Had 151.5 sacks. I can't do it. I can't say that. And then he went on to say, well, he can be like Dwight Freeney. No disrespect to Dwight Freeney, but I don't think he's a future Hall of Famer. He was taken the first round 11 pick overall, but he only has 108 sacks, and that's a lot for a defensive end, but that's not trend setting right there. It's not. I mean, the guys I named were great players. Michael Strahan, 141.5 sacks. That's metamorphosis right there. That's greatness. That's greatness, not Andre Wadsworth. That's not it. Had a decent season, rookie season, 5 sacks, which is not all that great because at least you want to be in double figures. So I don't understand why, you know, people always want to just go on that limb and say just because he looks fast and he looks good in his uniform, oh, he's the next best thing since sliced bread. No, that's not how it works. It really isn't. I mean, the guys I named, they were great players and still are great players. And Jared Allen, Richard Dent, drafted 1983 in the 8th round. They don't even have that anymore. 203rd pick, 137 sacks. It's part of what some might say is the greatest defense of all time, and that 85 Bears defense. Now, I personally don't say that. I always say it was Ray Lewis in that first Super Bowl team. I always say that. That's what I contend. I mean, they gave up 10 points that year. 10! A field goal and a touchdown. That's it. The only thing I'm saying about the Jadeveon Clowney, he can be one of the guys I named Dent. He can be one of them, or he can be Andre Wadsworth or Courtney Brown. He can be a bust. That's who he can be. So I don't want to, like I said before, when I hear, people say things like that, it make me grunt my teeth. I remember they said the same thing about Reggie Bush. Remember Reggie Bush? Reggie Bush, oh man, I can't believe that Texas is passing up on Reggie Bush. He's going to be great. Man, we all found out he could not run inside the tackles. We found that out. And see, one thing about these defensive ends that I'm talking about, they were good against, with the exception of Freeney, they were good, well, not good, they were great as far as rushing a passer, but they were great in being able to set the edge against the run. To me, that's what makes a complete defensive end. Being able to run and pass rush. Well, being able to run and being able to get a pass rush on the quarterback. That's what makes a great defensive end. Because, see, you can rush the passer, but you can be the weak link on the run game. Or you can switch it. But when you're that complete package, that means you don't have to come off the field. You stand on the field, first down, second down, third down, and then now the team is punting it. But next on the Grizz, we have NBA trade talk and chit chatter. The Grizz. And we're back, and this is the Grizz. Russell Westbrook. I want to talk about Russell Westbrook. Westbrook didn't look bad. I like the way Russell Westbrook looks. He didn't play particularly well. 4 for 12. He didn't play that well, but he wasn't bad. I mean, you can see that he's been out for some months. 3 surgeries in 1 calendar season. I've never heard of that before. And before I even go any further, I'm going to talk about Patrick Beverley. Every time I see, this guy and his nappy hair, I become really mad because he's the reason why Russell, Westbrook is going through this right now. Because he was too excited. He just had to get that ball when Russell Westbrook was getting ready to call a timeout. To me, that's something that you shouldn't do. It's like an unwritten rule. Hey, when I go to call a timeout, because guess what? You're a point guard too. Because you were over aggressive, you hurt my knee. And now there's residual effects from you doing what you did. So you know, I'm not very fond of this individual. I'm really not. I hate that he even did that. But let's get back to Russell, Westbrook. He had 16 points. And he looked explosive, especially the in and out, dribble that he did on D Wade. I was like, okay, Westbrook, okay, you back, okay, cool. I'm liking that. I'm liking that. Okay, you're getting back in the flow. I was cool with that. But I know one thing. I don't want to see Oklahoma City go against the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals. Like, I thought I would never ever say this, but I want the San Antonio Spurs to go to the NBA Finals because they will give the Heat a better matchup. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to agree with me, but that's just my conjecture. Because the same thing is like Oklahoma City and Miami, they mirrored each other. But Miami, they do it the best. They have the better perimeter game. The better perimeter players. That's assuming that D Wade is going to be healthy. Now, I don't know how healthy he's going to be. I've read, some columns that said, all of this, the antecedent for everything that happened with his knee is the surgery that he had in college. When he was at Marquette, they took out his meniscus. Now, what they did with Derrick Rose was just a little bit different. They sewed in Derrick Rose's meniscus, so he would not have any residual effects from the injury. The way they took his out, and he believes that that's the reason why now he has chronic knee problems. But if D Wade is healthy, like I said before, I don't know. It's going to be hard to beat those boys. It's going to be mighty hard to beat those boys. But next up is chit chatter. So we're gonna get started. Lakers trade Steve Blake to Golden State Warriors for Kent Bazemore and Marshawn Brooks. Brooklyn Nets exchange for Jason Terry and Reggie Evans to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Oh, excuse me. The Brooklyn Nets exchange Jason Terry and Reggie Evans. The Cleveland Cavaliers trade Earl Clark and Henry Sims and a couple of second rounders for expiring contract Spencer Hawes. And I actually like that from Philly. Spencer Hawes is not a bad player. He's actually pretty good. The Clippers trade Brian Mullins for a second round draft pick. The Denver Nuggets trade this disgruntled point guard Andre Miller to the Wizards for James Vesley and Eric Maynard and a pair of second-round draft picks. The Houston Rockets trade Aaron Brooks to the Denver Nuggets for Jordan Hill. The Heat trade Roger Mason Jr. to the Sacramento Kings for a heavily protected second-round draft pick. The Spurs acquired Austin Daye from the Toronto Raptors by surrendering Nandi De Cola. That's right. The Clippers have shipped Antoine Jamison to the Atlanta Hawks for the draft rights to household name Shink Akul Avi. And the best for last, the Pacers trade Danny Granger to the 76ers for Evan Turner and LaVoy Allen. Yes, and that's the end of Chit Chatter. I know it's real short, and that a lot of people don't know what's going on in the sports world as far as the trades in the NBA. So I'm giving you, it wasn't really a great day as far as trades in the NBA. There were a couple of minute deals, as you can hear. I mean, you probably don't know who many of these players are. But the player that you do know of is Danny Granger, because at one time he was a formidable player in the game of basketball. I mean, there was a time where he was a 25-point scorer in the NBA. He's 25-point scorer, so that lets me know that he can play basketball. Like, you don't just, come into the NBA and average 25 points. You have to be an extraordinary talent, an extraordinary basketball player to average 25 points. But they sent him, afloat. And they brought in Evan Turner. Evan Turner, I mean, he's okay. There's nothing real nice about him. He's okay. 17 points, but he takes 16 shots to get 17 points. So his field goal percentage is at 42%. Really doesn't say too much. But I guess if you bring him in the perfect spot where you can maximize his talent. So yeah, the points might go down, the minutes might go down, but the productivity will elevate itself. So he might not average 17 points, but he might average 14 points, but he might shoot 50%. You never know. So that makes him a more efficient player. And I have to say that the Pacers, I mean, they're coming. They're making a push. Andrew Bynum, LaVoy Allen, who's not a bad player. 2 years ago, he had a wonderful series against Boston, so he's proven that in big-time games he can step up and play well. Roy Hibbert, David West. Now, if there is an Achilles heel to the Miami Heat, is that they don't have any girth. They don't have any size. And you're banking on Greg Oden, who hasn't played in 3 years. You have Chris Bosh and Chris Anderson. So I don't know if that will be enough this year. And I have to keep harping on this. I have to. Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is the key. He's the key. Because in order to beat this team, Dwayne Wade has to at least be 95%. I hear some pundits say he has to be 80%. No. He has to be at least 100 to 95% in order to beat this team. Now, I will grant you that Miami Heat, they're 2 games back now. To me, it would be heartbreaking for the Pacers to let go of that lead, knowing that when they came into this here season, it was, hey, we're going to get home court advantage because they lost game 7. But I just don't know. Miami Heat, they're on a mission for commission. They are. They're not playing any games, but it's hard to reach 4 consecutive NBA finals. The last team to do that was those Bird Celtics in the 80s. What's that was? 84, 85, 86, and 87. They went 2-2. Lost to my Lakers, of course, and we're going to talk about that. Speaking of the Celtics, the game is probably on right now, but right now, I'm doing my thing, and I hope that you are enjoying listening to me like I enjoy talking to you. But next up on the Grizz, Ray Rice. Wow. A pretty tense situation, and, I want to really get off into, this sort of evil dissension that's brewing in the NFL. We get off into that here on the Grizz. And we're back. And this is the Grizz. Wow. We got through a lot today. So, we're going into the second hour of the show. And once again, I thank, my fans for listening to me, however it is that you're listening to me. A couple of days ago, I went to go see RoboCop, and I'm, if you don't know, I'm a big movie guy. I will go to the movies by myself. I know it's kind of a loser move, but I do have a lady. I have a woman. I have a woman who loves me, and I have a daughter who loves me. But, she doesn't like going to the movies and seeing action movies. She will go, but I work at night and she works in the morning, so it works better for us. So she doesn't have to say, I want to go, and I don't have to make her feel bad because I really don't want her to go. I want to have my man time. I like being in the movies by myself. And I was actually in the movies by myself. I was the only person watching this movie, RoboCop. I was the only person in there. It was crazy. I never had that experience before, but the movie was great. And it looked like, RoboCop was on steroids. If you watch the first RoboCop, do not go into that mindset thinking that it's going to replicate that, because it is totally different. But I want to get off into, the Lakers. And, comments that Kobe Bryant made, about, current, management, sort of disgruntled that Steve Blake is no longer in LA. And here are the comments that, Kobe said. He said, Steve Blake, not cool. Steve Blake was one of his closest teammates and a cycle competitor. Golden State picked up a gem. Hashtag smart move. This is what Kobe Bryant said. Now, I think Kobe Bryant did this for propaganda reasons only. Because, I understand he's a psycho competitor. And I understand he's one of your closest teammates. But Kobe, what has he done? Like, what has he done for you? What has he done for LA? He hasn't done anything, Kobe. Like, what has the man done to garner the amours that you seem to possess for him? What has he done? Last time I checked, he signed a 4-year, $16 million deal. And I haven't seen any dividends for that. I haven't seen anything. And oh, by the way, in that NBA playoff game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, I remember that Steve Blake had a chance to win the game and he missed it. And remind you that the Lakers sent Derek Fisher packing to Oklahoma City and brought in Ramon Session. But Steve Blake had a chance to win the game, but he did not. And guess what, Kobe? You were visibly mad and upset. Seemed like you wanted to strangle him, and you thought in your mind, damn, only if I had D-Fish. That's what it looked like to me. So I don't understand. That's why I say it's for propaganda reasons only. Because guess what? Kobe Bryant is not well liked in the NBA. It seemed like, NBA players, they do not like Kobe. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I wasn't a Laker fan and a Kobe fan, I probably would not like Kobe Bryant either. He has this probity demeanor. He's, that's just who he is. Grumpy. I mean, don't get me wrong. He has loosened up in the past, and that's one thing that, I can say that Kobe Bryant has came a long ways. Like I said before, and I'm going to say it again. He showed me that he was a true Laker when Dwight Howard did whatever it is he did, was kicked out of the game, and Kobe Bryant came out after the Achilles tear, a few games after, I can't remember what it was, and waved to the fans and said, guess what? I'm losing with y'all. I'm here for y'all. But once again, he has that probity demeanor that somewhat turns players off. So he wants to show that he has camaraderie for his teammates because he understands that he's in the last days. He's in the revelation of his career. So he wants to go out with a bang, and he understands that, hey, we are underneath the salary cap. By then we can be able to bring pieces in to help, not only myself win my 6th NBA championship, but bring a 17th NBA championship to LA. So he understands that. Like I said before, Kobe Bryant is no fool. He's a very astute individual. People need to understand that about Kobe. He understands how players view him. I mean, when Kobe, and I don't like to bring this up, but I have to. When everything transpired in Colorado, and Kobe, he didn't even have to say this. Hey, Shaq cheats on his wife. It's like, wow. Like, you didn't even have to say that. So because you were in trouble, now you're going to try to put the next man out there. You're going to want to blast the next man. Now, if I was Shaq, me and Kobe, we would have had to fisticuffs. We would have had to. Because there was no need for you to say that. I mean, there's certain things that you don't say, and you have to look at it like this. The NBA is predominantly black. I have to say this. It's predominantly black. And the majority of the African Americans who play in the league come from the inner city. And what is the motto? What's the mantra in the hood, quote unquote? You don't snitch. And guess what? Kobe broke that code. I don't know why he did, because he is from Italy. I mean, that's the mafia don of the world. I don't understand why he did that. I mean, he comes from Italy. I don't know what was his thinking when he said that. I mean, Lucky Luciano, that's where he's from. They'll whack you. We'll whack you. You know one none of this. You're mooly. Yeah, I mean, that's who they are. That's where he comes from. It ain't me. That's where he comes from. And I think, he knows that. He's very cognizant of that. So that's the reason why he made, these comments. Now, a person who I'm so glad that was not traded is Pau Gasol. I'm so glad that Pau wasn't traded, because I'm a Pau Gasol fan. And I don't care what you say or anyone else say. I'm a Pau Gasol fan. Pau is my boy. Without Pau, the Lakers do not have 2 NBA championships post-Shaq era. They do not have it. Pau balled. Pau is a baller, shot caller. That's who Pau Gasol is. And I don't want to see Pau Gasol go anywhere. I would like for Pau to retire a Laker. And I understand that the Lakers, they wanted to get rid of his $19.3 million contract. I understand that. But Pau has done a lot for the Lakers organization. I mean, he's averaged 18 points a game since he's been here. 18 points a game. And for his career, he's averaged 18 points and 9.2 rebounds. So he's been an efficient player. He's a Hall of Fame player. I understand that, people, get mad at Pau because, sometimes he's soft. A lot of times he's soft, especially this year, but he has played better. I mean, this last month before the groin injury, he was putting up numbers. He was averaging 20 points. He was balling. On the year, he's averaging 17 points. That's because he was hurt. And one thing I will say, it seems like his body is breaking down. But Pau Gasol is a hell of a player. It seemed like, I listened to, different, media outlet sources, and all of them, they want Pau to leave. Me personally, even when his contract is up, I would love for the Lakers to bring back Pau Gasol. I would love for them to bring him back. Bring him back for a reduced rate, of course, maybe, $10 to $12 million, somewhere in that range. But Pau is a good forward. They just don't grow on trees. I mean, let's think about some of the better power forwards. I mean, you have Blake Griffin, of course. You have Kevin Love, of course. LaMarcus Aldridge. And that's about it. You got Zach Randolph, Chris Bosh, who has been playing great basketball, by the way. And he also balled against OKC. He also had 20 points. And so, yeah. So, Pau Gasol probably is not in that category anymore. He's probably not there anymore, but he's still a serviceable big man. And I just don't want to see him go. Because if you bring Pau Gasol back at $10 million and then you have Kobe Bryant's $24 million, hey, that's $34 million right there. So you still have money that you can spend. And you'll be able to bring in a top flight player. You will be able to bring in a player that will be able to not only win now, but be able to carry on that great lineage of great Laker players. You'll be able to do that. So the NBA salary cap is set at $71.7 million. That's the luxury tax threshold, all included. So if the Lakers are, have money invested in Pau and Kobe, which is $34 million, that means you still have money to spend. So they will be able to go out there and get themselves a primetime player. That's assuming that Steve Nash leaves the team now, because I'm tired of seeing him. I'm tired of seeing the documentaries about him. I don't want to see Steve Nash no more. I don't want to see him no more. I'm tired of him. And then Steve Blake. Gotta go back to Steve Blake. Everyone Steve Blake. He ain't did nothing. He hasn't done anything. He's been there 4 years. What has he done? Tell me one thing. And then someone will probably say, well, Mr. Marcus, he hit that shot that won the game. Hey, that's the regular season. What did I tell you? I'm going to say it once. I'm going to say it again. This is America. We only love winners. We don't love anything else. Being in second is for suckers. And guess what? It's America. We are no suckers. That's what we're not. You better believe that. Whew.